Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Here.
Mr. Piper?
Here.
Mr. Werner?
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, are there any comments from the public on any of the agenda items? As there are no comments, we will move on to the next item on the agenda of presentation.
So this evening we have
Ms. Alvarez, and she's
going to present information regarding the Language, Culture, and Learning Department, programs and overview. We also have Ms. Catherine Rotini here who
Good evening, board, family and friends and staff, all the lovely faces. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We will be sharing information in regards to our programming at the for the Language, Culture, and Learning. I am your director here at District 130. The first, as you can tell on the screen, I'll be directing all my information over to the PowerPoint if you want to take a look. First and foremost, the very first program we're going to talk about tonight is our Transitional Bilingual Education Program. Under federal law, if there are 20 or more speakers of the same language per school building, they are offered bilingual education. Currently, we use the Access. It's a state-mandated English proficiency annual test, and what that does, it measures the student's English proficiency in the listening, speaking, reading, and writing domain. We do currently have 857 identified Spanish-speaking EL students here at District 130, 62 TB teachers, and we do have bilingual programs in all of our schools. In terms of TBE, as we call our Transitional Bilingual Education Program, the goal is for our students in this program to acquire English proficiency. We do provide instruction mostly in Spanish, and then it gradually moves to, it is open to native Spanish-speaking students. Our second program that we will be speaking about tonight is our Transitional Program of Instruction, also called TPI. It is for English language learners, ESL. Under federal law, if there are 19 or less speakers of the same language, should be offered TPI services. We currently have a pull-out and a co-teaching model format. In addition, we do utilize the Access state-mandated test, which is given annually to the students in January to measure the English proficiency in the different domains of English in listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And based on that, we do provide differentiation. We currently have 64 identified ESL students, and there are 6 languages other than Spanish here in the district. We have Arabic, Vietnamese, Korean, Urdu, French, Polish. And we currently have 2 TPI teachers in the district. In this program to acquire English language proficiency. They do provide instruction in English with some supports in Spanish if necessary, and it is open to students who speak another language other than English in those buildings, as I mentioned. Our third program is our dual language program. The program is offered from kindergarten level all the way to 5th grade. We do have a 2-teacher model, 1 teacher with a target language in English, and the second teacher target language in Spanish. They receive 50% of their time with the English target language teacher and the other 50% with the Spanish target language teacher. There is literacy instruction that is provided in both languages starting in the kindergarten level. And it is open enrollment at kindergarten. We currently have 453 students in the dual language program and 35 TBE and DL dual language teachers. We take a look at the next screen. Just indicates that our dual language program, the goal is for our students to acquire English and Spanish language proficiency. And this program does provide instruction for English and Spanish also. And it is open to all students. The fourth program that we do have under our department is Spanish as a foreign language in the middle schools. There are two strands, Spanish 1 and Heritage Spanish. It is offered currently in 2 schools. It is offered as an elective course, and also we noticed that the children do go very well in this class, and they receive sometimes advanced placement in high school because of all the Spanish they have been instructed here at District 130 from kindergarten all the way to intermediate and then middle school. The hopes is that in high school they do receive AP, Spanish, and college credit. That is our goal. We currently have 93 students in this program, and currently we do have 2 teachers in the district for this year, and we are excited that next year we will have 3 teachers, 1 in each middle school. So what about middle school? So as I stated before, our program, their goal is to have Spanish 1. Spanish 1 is an entry level for our students, and it is a Spanish as a foreign language class. And we do have Heritage. That is for our native speakers and for our dual language students that started since kindergarten, have gone all the way to 4th and 5th, and the parents ask, what next? How can my child continue to flourish in Spanish? So that is why they are offered that opportunity to take that elective. In addition to that, as I stated before, it's interesting because the students, when they go on to high school, they take the Spanish test, and they oftentimes skip minimally 1 year in high school to have that Spanish, possibly 2. And oftentimes, to be honest with you, some of the students go into Spanish 3, which is awesome. And finally, the last program I'll be speaking to you about today is the Academic Enrichment Program, AEP, quote-unquote, our gifted program. This is a referral process program. The referrals are provided for our parents and our teachers online as well at the schools. They do have a folder that explains all the steps. Principals have been provided all the process as to how to apply for a possible AEP student and what needs to be done, how they qualify, what are the requirements. And in the AEP program, the teachers do follow the grade level curriculum with differentiated instruction, and they do enrich that instruction that happens in the classroom. It does start at the 3rd grade level, and they do work in clusters. So at 3rd grade, there will be a gifted pool of students, AEP students that are in the 3rd grade classroom, and then it goes up to 4th and 5th. When you get into middle school, there is AEP grade clusters in addition to that. But what's interesting about that is that we do grade by strength. If they're stronger in math, then they'll be in the gifted AEP in math. If they're stronger in ELA, they will be in that group. If they're stronger in both, then they will find themselves in working with the same group of students. We currently have 104 students in the AEP program. And now I'm going to be sharing the following slides. Ms. Rotini will be sharing with you in regards to our successes and also our celebrations and what we're looking forward in the following year.
Good evening, everyone. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting our successes. Let me highlight that this is really because of the hard work our teachers, support staff, administrators, and our parents. They support our programs tremendously, and we want to make sure we share our gratitude. So what are some of our program successes? Well, despite our crazy COVID year last year, we still had 38 students transition out of our program. That is huge, considering all of the obstacles we had. That means that they graduated out of our program and they are English proficient. 8 students were only 1 point away. We do monitor these kids because there are bubble kids. These are the kids that we anticipate will exit the following year. We have 42 students that move from full-time to part-time status. Full-time students receive instruction in Spanish in all of the core subjects with an ESL component. Our part-time students receive instruction in English in the content areas based on student needs and receive language support as needed. When our students exit, they receive instruction in English and are monitored for 2 years as they transition into general education. Along with our successes, we do have some celebrations. We will continue our teacher collaboration to provide support and strategies to support English and Spanish learners. We continue to celebrate Dia del Niño, which starts next week. It's a week long of activities. It's our time to celebrate our children, of course, our future, and who knows how many of them will be sitting right here with us in 10, 15 years. We will continue to collaborate with local libraries. We've been promoting their literacy program. We promote their spring program, and we are currently promoting their summer program, their reading programs at all our local libraries. So we have been in collaboration with them. And our Cinco de Mayo, as tradition, we have continued through a presentation via video. So we're still taking our precautions. We've continued our presentations. Students have worked hard with the guide of a teacher or parapro, videotape their presentation, and we will see it May 5th through our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and district website. So looking ahead, what does next school year look like? We will continue to support our teachers, collaboration across the district to facilitate student growth. We will continue to host bilingual parent advisory committees, events throughout the school year. This is where we invite our bilingual parents to be part of our program and have a distinct voice for it. Continue to provide professional development for teachers and parapros, and we will continue to partner with our parent liaisons and local community organization to promote incentives and programs that support our community in every phase.
Once again, we want to just take a moment just to say thank you so much to the board for allowing us to speak tonight. And to all our friends that are out here, I see some dual language teachers, and we see some lovely principals are ready to just give us a high five, not to us, but to those teachers that work so hard. We appreciate you guys. We know it's a lot of hard work. Thank you, board, and thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you very much. I just want to say I'm very impressed with your program success. Pupil Personnel Service Department, Mr. Cirillo presents information regarding the Pupil Personnel Services Department program and overview.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present an overview of the Pupil Personnel Service Department, in addition to the work that we do to support the students and staff of Cook County School District 130. Just in general, we have an administrative team that supports the work of the department, which consists of myself, Mr. Hall, Ms. Kittens, Ms. Sexton, and Ms. Paul. We also have a wonderful administrative support team in terms of our secretarial staff that work in our department, which is Maria, Tracy, Ms. Bucky, Ms. Alvarado, and Ms. Gonzalez, and they support a lot of our work in the department, from records to discipline to homebound services, IEPs, 504s, registration, residency, state database supporting, and things of that nature.
And they are here tonight.
They are also here tonight. I don't know if they want to round up. They don't have to. The PPS department, what do we do? What's the main crux of our overview? We're housed at the Nathan Hale campus in the PPS office, tucked in tight between primary and intermediate school. We have the authority, and we work with the supervision of all of our special education programs. We support our buildings, administration, and teachers. We provide support for related services in matters pertaining to special education of students with disabilities, and we work with them to support the 504s, student discipline, residency, student records. We work in collaboration with the technology department on registration. We also support students under the McKinney-Vento provisions of the district. We collaborate with the curriculum department on PBIS, MTSS, and SEL work, and we also collaborate with the early childhood program to facilitate transition from Part C to Part B. Our coordinators provide a lot of on-the-ground oversight of our programs. They facilitate the child find process in the buildings, and help support our specific programs of social work, speech and language pathology, our counselors, our nurses, our paraprofessionals, our ICP program, our ED program, our private parochial schools, and work with our contracted school psychologists.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to give you guys an overview of our different programs that we have in the PPS department. As you can see, that first bullet point up there, self-contained programs. We have a multitude of self-contained programs in the district. Our first program is our cross-gap program. That's a program that's geared toward providing students specialized instruction. By that I mean the students are taught the objectives from the general education curriculum, but it's taught to them in at a pace and at a level that's conducive to their learning needs. They receive specialized instruction to help them make their gains and reach their academic goals. The emotional disabilities program is another program that I'll go into more detail later. It's also a specialized self-contained program that's geared toward meeting the needs of our students who have an emotional disability. That program is geared toward providing specialized instruction to meet academic goals, but also teaching students skills that they need to learn to regulate their own behaviors. Then there's our intensive communications program. Those are our students who have some very significant communication needs. They typically fall in the category of autism spectrum disorder. Some of them have intellectual disabilities, but the nature of their disability impedes their ability to communicate, so that program addresses that need specifically. Resource level students are the students that you more so see in the general population at our building levels. Use the resource term, probably more so K-5. Those are our students who are 100% in the general education curriculum, but there's a special education teacher who pushes in to provide services, extra support in math, language arts. They may at times even pull out students for some direct instruction as well. Co-taught would be the middle school's level of resource services. Typically, middle school students who are in that co-taught model, they are placed in a general education math, language arts, science, social studies class. They're fully exposed to the general education curriculum, but there is a special education teacher present in those classes as well to provide supports. Then our outplaced students, there's some of our students that although we do our best to meet their needs within our buildings, there's some nature of their disability, there's some programs that we don't offer, so we outplace those students to best meet the needs and to support their abilities and help them make academic gains. To go into the ED program a little bit more, like I said, it's a self-contained program. It addresses the behavior needs of students who have an emotional disability. We've also placed students in this program who fall under the designation of OHI, other health impaired. Some of our students who fall in the category of other health impaired have severe ADHD symptoms that impact their ability to learn in the general education setting, so they need a more structured environment. So the ED program, it provides that structured environment to address those behavior needs. It provides the specialized instruction that our students need to make academic gains. From being in this program, our students learn to identify emotions, control emotions, and implement coping skills to help them regulate themselves. They learn problem-solving skills. They learn to manage interpersonal relationships. And they basically learn these skills and are held accountable for presenting these skills over an extended amount of time, that they eventually get to the point where they can progress and earn the ability to be transitioned out of the program. Because the goal of the ED program is, like I said, specialized instruction to meet academic needs, address behavior issues as well, but teach students to overcome or address those behavior issues so that, again, they can transition back to their home schools or the general education setting. Thank you.
I'm going to speak a little bit about the ICP program. It is also a very specialized self-contained program within our district. It's the I and the C and the P stand for the Intensive Communication Program, as Mr. Hall referred to. And it really is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the kinds of support that we provide to them. It is something that definitely is beyond what there's a spectrum. That's why we call it autism spectrum disorder. That students who are more profoundly affected by it are part of this program, as well as students who might have an intellectual disability that gets in the way of them being able to communicate. Also, they have sometimes sensory needs that are impeding them from being able to access the programs that we do in school. And so everything is centered around those things. They receive visual supports to help them to regulate and know what's coming ahead, like visual schedules. They have supports in communication and language, expressive, how they're expressing themselves and how they are receiving and understanding language from others, and social situation supports. Life skill supports, especially as they get a little bit older. When they're in the primary grade level, it's about self-care, and as they get into middle school, they're running a coffee cart and doing things with money and learning how to be really contributing members of their school community. And this environmental structure and predictability, though, is just a thread that goes through all of those classrooms, and it helps those students to really thrive. The delivery and the philosophy, and there's a lot in this, but I will give you kind of those highlights. The curriculum design addresses those unique needs of students with these kinds of disabilities. In fact, we use a program that's called Unique quite often that is kind of an access point for a lot of students. The curriculum is developed to demonstrate measurable progress through data collection and observation. It's a big part of things when we are using alternate ways to assess students. The toolbox of support strategies are having to do with sensory and communication supports like applied behavioral analysis, verbal behavior, discrete trial, teach, social communication, intervention, or instruction. The key to success is that structure and the routine and the repetition. The predictability is everything for those students to feel safe to actually begin to really access the academic part of their school. And the program will identifies stages in the learner development, and it uses a systematic approach to meet each student's cognitive, social, emotional, and physical developmental levels. The way that the time and the staff are used in at the primary level is very, very different from the middle. And you can see, and it's really quite exciting to sit in meetings with parents whose children have been with us throughout the whole progress and just rave about how much their student can do and how much they have been able to master those things that used to impede them from learning in their classroom. It is also a curriculum that works with the families to support independence for their student in functional life skills. So we outreach to parents and help to give them ideas, strategies, and things that align with what we do at school, so those students continue to have some of the same things and have that repetition be a part of their home life as well, which is helping a lot of students to thrive. And family support, as I mentioned, is a big part of it, but we have not only support from us as staff. In the past, there have been outside events to bring parents together, special open houses to give parents ideas or to address things that they have specific questions about, and we're getting back to that kind of support. And the team itself supports students' communication, structure, and sensory needs. We have specialists in speech language pathology, OT, occupational therapy, and behavior analysis and social work. So those specialized support people are the kind of a glue that threads through all the levels of ICP. We have the same practitioners for those programs right now, which is a wonderful support for those teachers to have kind of a connective tissue as well. That was a lot, I'm sorry. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Self-Contained as a placement in the world of an IEP. Mr. Hall gave a fantastic, actually, thumbnail of it, and I might not insult you by reading every single element of it because he actually highlighted a lot of them. It is really about the benefits that are gained by a student who perhaps needs a more supportive environment to work with a smaller group of students, so that they can get more direct attention from teachers. They have a parapro and a teacher in that classroom, and so that it allows a little more flexibility for pace and for the way that the curriculum is delivered to them. So that is a big part of the self-contained environment. A variety of instructional methods are used, a lot of different support materials, all stemming, of course, from the Common Core. There is a lot of different creative modalities in which we support students. Tactile, we understand all those old ways that we used to talk about students learning kinesthetically or auditorily or artistically. All those things are those creative methods that you would expect to see in a self-contained classroom so that we can reach all the students in whatever they need. It definitely is a setting in which those significant academic delays can be wrapped around and addressed so that they can make maximum progress. A student that might shut down in a larger setting, in that smaller setting, can really contribute and participate in the classroom in a way that engagement is really what allows them to thrive and to grow. And it also supports some things that you might even recognize from the ICP. Having the difficulties with transitions is something that it helps to have that smaller setting, having those reliable adults who are always a part of their day, and it helps them to learn how to regulate those reactions sometimes to those transitions. And it's also about making sure that students get things done because they have that closer support, that better ratio of adults to students, and allows a lot of time for the guided practice and then releasing them when we're able to with that independent practice and making sure that they're continuing to grow. And definitely that socialization part and giving that enriched opportunity for students who feel like they are safe in a group of peers who work with them, and it creates almost a little family. So that is our self-contained overview.
Good evening. So again, Mr. Hall went through specific details on each section. So I'm just going to highlight a little bit of a resource teacher or a special education teacher. And I really am happy to have this opportunity to talk about because I was a resource teacher in this district and I worked collaboratively with the general education teachers to meet the needs of students. So what I would do is I would push into a classroom or pull out of the classroom students who needed additional support. Work in small groups to meet their needs. If I was pushing into the classroom, it was more of like a co-taught atmosphere. I would either be working at one end of the classroom, working on a skill, while the general education teacher was working on the other end. Or we completed centers, and I was working in that small group to make sure that targeted skill was met. The resource teacher is basically wanting to make sure that these students who have additional needs are in the general education classroom and are able to learn with their general education peers. Also, Mr. Hall talked about a little bit about the outplacement, so I'm just going to go a brief summary on that. Basically, School District 130 strives to provide services to all its children in the home school, but some children's needs are not met at District 130. So we collaborate our services through Eisenhower Cooperative and other outplacements as needed, and I'm just going to name some of the outplacements that schools that we work with: CARE, DLP, DHH, St. Coletta's, Chicago Autism Academy, Elam and Braun Academy, Rise, and Country Club Hills Tech and Trade. Thank you.
So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about other departmental work for our department. One piece of other departmental work that we actually utilize is we are in charge of McKinney-Vento, and that is the homeless assistance. Additionally, we also are a part of facilitation of state mandated trainings. So as a former counselor in this district, I was a part of SOS, which is Signs of Suicide, or you might know it as Anne Marie's Law. Additionally, we have Aaron's Law training that we coordinate, and that would be about the sexual abuse awareness, assistance, and the referral of how to help support families and students. CPI, which is known as Crisis Prevention Intervention, and that's the nonviolent intervention and physical restraint training, so we're involved with that as well. We actually collaborate with curriculum and technology on the rostering and delivery of our district level assessments, and we provide facilitating and training as identified as earlier in any way, shape, or form with our teachers. So if they're asking for additional questions or supports, we step in and try and help support them and give them opportunities. Additionally, we also are a part of Responsive Classroom in collaboration with the Curriculum Department. So that's really student-centered SEL curriculum or social emotional learning. and that is for an approach to teaching and discipline as well. We also are a part of the Climate and Culture Committee, which you might know as the Discipline Committee, the Registration Committee, the Concussion Committee, and then Office of Civil Rights, where we provide equal access to education and educational excellence. And then additionally, we try to provide professional development for the variety of people that we're working with to make sure that they feel supported and they can move forward in helping to support our students.
Questions? Insights? Reflections?
And I'd just like to say thank you, and thank you very much for all the hard work that you all do.
I'm going to do this a little backwards. I typically, after this, is anyone else from PPS here that's not the 5 standing up? Could they stand up for us? So we can identify them? My son, 30 years ago, probably a little bit before some of your times, we used your staff, and he went through starting at Horace Mann and all the way through with an IEP all the way through and graduated 8th grade from Nathan Hale. So he's doing fantastic today, and it's all for the great work that you guys do. So thank you. Okay, and then I said I was doing this a little bit backwards. So are there any other than the presenters, including the presenters, that they could stand up? The language, culture, and learning department. Could those people or any of our bilingual teachers that are present tonight, could they please stand up, please? Thank you for the fantastic work you guys are doing. I wish I would have got my son into some dual language, because that would, even though we're English speaking, it's a very valuable skill these days for English speakers to be able to speak Spanish, not necessarily coming back the other way, but it's a great job catcher. So thanks again.
Approval of consent agenda items. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 4A, B, C, D, E, and F, 5A and B, 6A and E, and 8A, B, and C?
I'll make the motion.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Palma? Mr. Burmeister, yes. Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Health insurance renewal.
Good evening. The district's health insurance policies are up for renewal on July 1, 2022. The Horton Group, our insurance consultant, has been involved with the negotiation process of pricing the insurance coverage for the renewal. The following are proposed. The proposed renewal pricing for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for health care during the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. The proposed renewal pricing from MetLife Dental. The proposed renewal pricing for VSP Vision Policy. The proposed renewal pricing for MetLife Insurance Policy. A memorandum reflecting the current proposed renewal rates is attached for board review.
Do any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve the annual health insurance renewal as presented?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister, yes. Ms. Mitchell Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Renewal agreement for Preferred Meal Systems Incorporated.
Preferred Meal Systems Incorporated currently has a one-year contract with the district to provide food service that expires on July 31st, 2022. The Illinois State Board of Education, ISB, the Nutrition Division, allows food service contracts to be renewed with up to 4 additional one-year extensions. Fiscal year 2020 was the fourth one-year contract extension, but due to COVID-19, ISB allowed additional one-year extensions for the current fiscal years for 2021, 2022, and 2023. Preferred Meal Systems Incorporated is proposing a 6% increase over our current contract to furnish meals for food service programs for the period of August 1, 2022 through July 31st, 2023. A memorandum reflecting the current proposed renewal rates is attached for board review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Yes, does this mean this is the last year of their contract and we need to find a new service next year?
Correct. The process is that we would have to go out to bid, so we're going to start working on those documents.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
May I have a motion to approve the renewal agreement for Preferred Meals Systems Incorporated?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister, yes. Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Request for sick leave bank.
Upon recommendation of the Sick Leave Bank Committee, it is requested that the Board of Education grant 25 sick leave days to employee 2022 EM under Article 13, Section 13.5 of the Blue Island Education Association Bargaining Unit Agreement. This is employees 2022 EM's second request to withdraw days from the sick leave bank. The request for the withdrawal days from the sick leave the request for the withdrawal days form has been submitted to the Board of Education for review.
Any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve the request for sick leave bank for employee 2022 EM?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Palma?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Motion approved.
Tax levy recapture funds updates.
This is an information item. At the February 17, 2022 board meeting, the Board of Education approved the district to recapture levy funds from Public Act 102-0519. On November 15, 2021, the Cook County Clerk's Office anticipated the district to receive $839,042. On March 23, 2022, the Cook County Clerk's Office sent an updated communication stating that the Cook County Treasurer's Office submitted an updated refund report. The district is anticipating to receive an adjusted amount of $664,703. Attached is the communication from the Cook County Clerk's Office for your review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Crestwood Flood Control Project update.
This is also an information item. A pre-construction meeting was held on April 7, 2022 regarding the upcoming flood control project on 135th Street and the area east of the Hale campus. Reliable Contracting and Equipment Company is the contractor in charge of this project. It is anticipated that the construction portion of the project will begin in early June 2022 and shall be completed by July 27, 2023. At least 2 of the 3 access driveways to the Hale campus will be open at all times, and the sidewalk access will be maintained. Workers are clearing background checks in order to work in the area. The groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for 11 o'clock a.m. on May 10th, 2022 at the Crestwood Recreation and Wellness Center. The Board of Education will be provided occasional updates throughout this project.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Resolution 2022-78, approval of stipend for leadership duties performed at Paul Revere Primary School.
As of April 6, 2022, Mr. Kevin Hogue has been assigned as leadership support at Paul Revere Primary School. This work is in addition to his role as an assistant principal. The district would like to compensate Mr. Kevin Hoag for these roles and duties with a $900 monthly stipend until June 30th, 2022.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Yes. Can you clarify what the job description of leadership support is in the school? Maybe I'm just not familiar with that term.
I've assigned him to work at Arbor Primary to support Latanya Johnson, while Mr. Jones is at Kerr Middle School working with Anne Marie Mayorga. So although, so she's not there by herself. Amelia Herrera was there. She resigned. And so that would have left Latanya alone at the school site.
Okay, thank you.
Is Mr. Hoag here? I know, good use. So these guys know, they know who they're voting on. Thank you for your hard work.
We have a motion to approve resolution 2022-78, approval of stipend for leadership duties performed at Paul Revere Primary School.
I'll second.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Resolution 2022-79, approving the appointment of John Casper Company for auditing services FY 2022 and FY 2023.
John Kasperi Company has presented a 2-year agreement to conduct a financial audit for the fiscal years ending in June 30th, 2022 and June 30th, 2023 as presented.
We have any questions or comments from the board?
I was wondering if it was possible to explore other options, possibly motion to table and do a proposal for, or a call for proposals or bids so we can look at other options. So I guess I'd like to make a motion to
That's what I
table.
was going to ask.
And then request a proposal or call for proposals.
We can make a motion. Do you have a second for her motion?
I'll second.
Roll call.
This is a motion to table this resolution 2022-79.
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister, yes. Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
No.
Motion approved. Motion is tabled.
Stipend approval. Kimberly Hauser has been working on, oops, I'm sorry, that's Lucy's. Sorry, I mean to step on your toes.
Kimberly Hauser has been working on the Cook County School District 130 website from January 2021 to December 2021. It is proposed for Ms. Kimberly Hauser to continue to maintain the district website until further notice at the rate of $35 an hour. Ms. Hauser will submit detailed monthly reports, including times and tasks. This information will also assist the district in evaluating the overall website maintenance and access potential for future communication needs.
Comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve the request stipend from Kimberly Hauser?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister, yes. Ms. Mitchell Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Employment?
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the employment of the following classified staff. Jessica Benitez, teacher, Nathan Hale Middle School. Bethany Rios, teacher, Paul Revere Intermediate School. Joy DeMarco, counselor, Nathan Hale Middle School. Frank Gonzalez, teacher, Paul Revere Primary School. Bartholomew Pete, teacher, Nathan Hale Middle School. Asia Campbell, speech language pathologist, Pupil Personnel Service Department. Kathleen Leitz, social worker, Whittier School. Mary Kate Witry, teacher at Nathan Hale Primary School. Rebecca Renaud, teacher, Nathan Hale, middle school.
Any
These would be for the 2022-23 school year.
Any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve the employment of the following certified staff: Jessica Benitez, Bethany Rios, Joy DeMarco, Frank Gonzalez, Bartholomew Pete, Asia Campbell, Kathleen Litz, Mary Kay Whitby, and Rebecca Renaud. Second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes,
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Motion approved.
once again, skipping my due diligence, are any of these people here by chance? Okay.
Sorry. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the employment of the following classified staff: Anayeli Leon, custodian 2, floater, Buildings and Grounds Department; Patricia Halomo Mendez, school secretary, Horace Mann School.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Are either of these two here? Can you please stand up, please? Yay, thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the employment of the following classified staff: Anelia Leon and Patricia Jalamo?
I'll make the motion.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes, definitely.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes,
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Motion approved.
Resignations.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resignations of the following classified staff: Birgit Lavoy, paraprofessional, Nathan Hale Primary School; Patrick Porter, custodian 1, Nathan Hale Primary School.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve resignations of the following classified: Brigitte Lavoy and Patrick Porter?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes,
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Adoption of the 2022-2023 school calendar.
The proposed calendar was presented to the presidents of the BIEA, BIESPA Local 430, and the BIESPA Local 330 for review the week of March 21st through 25th, 2022. A copy of the final proposed calendar is attached, as well as the documents that highlight the important dates in the proposal. The proposed 2022-2023 school calendar highlights and the proposed calendar and the School District 218's approved calendar are attached for the Board of Education's review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I think the calendar looks pretty good, and I love the addition of the late start for the staff and students.
Later on at the end of the meeting, you can just place for public. Actually, it's at the beginning of the meeting, it's an agenda item, but we'll let you have your comment later. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the adoption of 2022-2023 school calendar?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes,
Motion approved.
Statement of economic interest.
All Board of Education members and administrators, collectively filers across the district, are required to file a Statement of Economic Interest, SEI, per the Illinois Governmental Ethics Act before May 1st, 2022. The district provided the contact information to the Cook County Clerk's Office, which sent emails to the flyers with a link to the website where the SEI can be completed. In addition, filers can go to www.cookcountyclerks.com ethics eco interest to access the link to their SEI.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? And that does include us, by the way. Curriculum and instruction.
Strategic planning. This is an information item. The Strategic Plan Committee convened earlier this month, establishing the purpose and expectations for their work, reviewing the state of the district, and brainstorming suggestions, questions, and examples of positive progress toward the current strategic goals. The next phase of the process sees the governance and management, climate and culture, and curriculum and instruction subcommittees meet to examine and adjust the current strategic goals as necessary. The aim of the committee is to bring the updated strategic plan to the May 19th, 2022 Board of Education meeting for board review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? April and May instructional mandates.
This is an information item. National Arbor and Bird Day will be celebrated on Friday, April 29th, 2022, a day which typically hails the importance of planting trees, shrubs, and vines, and as a day to show the value of trees and birds and the necessity of their protection. Cook County School District 130 teachers were encouraged in the April 2022 edition of Curriculum Corner to hold appropriate activities and utilize the Arbor Day Foundation website as a means of exploring the history of the day, educational resources, and celebration materials. Each May, Asian American and Pacific Islander AAPI Heritage Month is held to honor and recognize the contributions of Asian Americans to the history and achievements of the United States. Dr. Connie Graham-Grayson is facilitating a team of teachers who are developing a resource deck which will assist district teachers in their upcoming planning efforts.
Any questions or comments from the board? End of year assessment window.
This is an information item. Designated end-of-year assessments will be administered from April 25th, 2022 through May 13th, 2022. Utilized as a final check on student progress, assessments administered to students in kindergarten through grade 8 include NWEA MAP in reading and mathematics and the iReady Mathematics Diagnostic Assessment. Students in grades K through 5 and several middle school students will also participate in a diagnostic measure known as the Benchmark Assessment System, BAS, or the Sistema de Evaluación de la Lectura, SEL, and students in grades 6 through 8 will complete the level set assessment in reading. Results will be utilized to gauge student progress, to set learning goals, and to guide instructional decision making.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Quarter 4 progress reports.
This is an information item. Fourth quarter progress reports will be available to parents on Friday, April 29th, 2022 via the online PowerSchool Parent Portal. We encourage parents to visit the portal often as an additional means of monitoring their child's progress.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Motion Standards Committee.
This is an information item. While Cook County School District 130 has succeeded in providing in-person instruction for the 2021-2022 school year, the impact of 13 months of remote learning and the continued impact of the Illinois Department of Public Health guidance on student attendance will potentially have a bearing on the number of students who successfully meet the Cook County School District 130's promotion standards that were established pre-pandemic. The 2021-2022 Promotion Standards Committee met to explore and discuss the possible effects the COVID-19 pandemic has had upon students' ability to meet the promotion criteria. The 10-member committee included board members, district administrators, building administrators, and teachers who met on February 23rd, 2022 and March 23rd, 2022. The committee's discussions addressed multiple considerations but focused on two main topics. One, the impact of quarantine and isolation requirements upon student attendance, and two, the impact of remote learning on student proficiency levels as demonstrated on NWEA percentiles and grades. The minutes of the committee meetings were shared with the superintendent for her review and consideration.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Chicago Bears Mini Monsters Clinic.
This is an information, not information item. Chicago Bears Mini Monsters Clinic is a free youth program sponsored by Advocate Healthcare. Clinic programming stresses the importance of healthy eating, physical activity, and proper hydration through fun, non-contact football drills. 4th and 5th grade students will participate in a 90-minute session. Whittier School would like to host the Chicago Bears Mini Monsters Clinic on May 10th, 2022, and Paul Revere Intermediate School would like to host the clinic on May 17th, 2022. The agreements indicating program specifics are attached for board review.
Any questions or comments from the board? We have a motion to approve the agreement with the Chicago Bears Mini Monsters Clinic for Whittier and Paul Revere Intermediate School.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Celebrating staff.
This is an information item. Cook County School District 130 proudly recognizes the many important groups of professionals who make an impactful difference every day. Paraprofessional Appreciation Day was celebrated on April 2nd, 2022, and National School Librarian Day took place on April 4th, 2022. Administrative Professionals Day will be celebrated on April 27th, 2022, while May brings in opportunities to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week, the week of May 2nd, 2022, and Speech and Language Pathologist Day on May 18th, 2022. We extend our sincerest gratitude to these celebrated groups of professionals.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Sorry, I think it's wonderful that you're celebrating all these different groups because we all, or everybody works together to run a school. And so I'm glad I'm not leaving anybody out.
Chicago White Sox Jackie Robinson Art Contest.
In March, this is an information item. In March 2022, students at Everett F. Kerr School were invited to participate in the Chicago White Sox Jackie Robinson Art Contest. We are proud to announce 2 of our 6th grade students, Aiden McHenry and Maria Moore, participated. Both students received a prize of 4 free tickets to the MLB recognition of Jackie Robinson Day at Guaranteed Rate Field on Friday, April 15th, 2022. During the game, the White Sox proudly displayed selected submissions for fans to view in the ballpark's Xfinity Kids Zone. Congratulations, Aiden and Maria.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Would either one of them be here? by any chance? No. Okay.
Graduation.
This is an information item. Cook County School District 130 announces the schedule for the upcoming class of 2022 8th grade graduation ceremonies. All ceremonies will take place once again at Dwight D. Eisenhower High School, located at 12700 South Sacramento Avenue in Blue Island, Illinois. The ceremony schedule is as follows: 2:00 p.m. Veterans Memorial Middle School, 4:30 p.m. Nathan Hale Middle School, and 7:00 p.m. Everett F. Kerr Middle School. We look forward to celebrating our students' hard work and dedication.
Any questions or comments from the board? Pupil Personnel Services. Easter Seals Coaching Package.
It is recommended that Cook County School District 130 enter into an agreement with Easter Seals for monthly coaching for the ICP classrooms for the 2022-2023 school year. The Easter Seals proposal is attached to the agenda for board review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve the Easter Seals Coaching Package for 2022-2023 school year?
Make the motion.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Discipline and Uniform Committee updates.
Attached to the agenda for board review are the committee work for the uniform and discipline committees for the climate and culture.
Any-
Overall, was submitted.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Resolution 2022-80, approving Safe Schools Program Agreement with RISE, R-I-S-E.
The Regional Institute for Scholastic Excellence requires that all districts who anticipate enrolling students into the program have a Safe Schools Program Agreement for the 2022-2023 school year. The Regional Institute for Scholastic Excellence, RISE, is an alternative program serving students from grades 6 to 12 who are eligible for suspension or expulsion, or have been suspended or may be expelled due to gross misconduct. The RISE program is offered to students by the local public school districts serviced by South Cook ISC as an optional educational opportunity for students who may be expelled, are suspended, or are at risk for failure or dropout. Resolution 2022-80, approving Safe Schools Program Agreement with RISE, and are attached to the agenda for board review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-80?
Make the motion.
Approved. Roll call, please.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Miggett, okay. Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Resolution 2022-81, approving short-term program agreement with RISE.
The Regional Institute for Scholastic Excellence, RISE, requires that all districts who anticipate enrolling students into the program have a short-term program agreement for the 2022-2023 school year. The RISE short-term program can be used as an option to an external suspension of students. Placement times may vary depending upon the length of the external suspension. Resolution 2022-81, approving a short-term program agreement with RISE and RISE short-term agreement are attached to the agenda for board review.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-81, approving the short-term program agreement with RISE?
I make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Ms. Colma?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister, yes. Motion approved.
Buildings and grounds report.
The Levy staff cleaned Foursquare and the parking lot at and will continue additional playground games for the future. 2 polishing buffers have been purchased and tested. Additional machines will be purchased and distributed to the district. Potholes are being filled throughout the district. Water fountain filters have been ordered and they are expected to arrive for the 22nd and they will be replaced. Safety data sheets for the custodial staff are being updated. Main staff has completed 2-hour asbestos awareness training from Midwest Environmental. They should be receiving a certification, which they have. That's it.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Where are we at with ceilings over at Horace Mann?
So we received a proposal from Midwest Construction, and we will be pursuing that. We will just have to schedule it for the summertime.
What about NHI door closer project?
I believe we set to work with Lucy on getting proposals for, I believe it was under bid.
It was less than, so we don't have to take it out to bid, so you can go ahead and look at different vendors, PPS or other entities, to see compare proposals, get a couple of them going.
Great, thank you. What about the status of Sanders School? What we get? What amount of your time is spent over there policing that building? I guess.
So the roof still leaks. I still have the main staff traveling from time to time. Never got the roof replaced. I believe that was on the agenda a couple months ago for the board.
How did that go?
We had to make a decision of what was going to happen with Sanders.
So, but the question is, how much time do you guys spend spend over there an hour a day of?
Yeah, we usually take about 2 hours a day, just walk around the facility, make sure no one broke into it. Yeah.
What kind of maintenance is required over there as far as the grounds? Cutting grass?
Cutting grass, weeds, putting up plyboard again, people do break in, we just put it back up.
Is there much of a problem with break-ins over there?
It slowed down a lot since we changed it up, got the fence back up, but they still do get it from time to time.
Thank you.
The water fountains that we're getting, are we installing them ourselves?
That will be from Chicago Light Construction, I believe. They will be doing it. The maintenance staff installed them on the 24, 25 throughout the district, and that is for this summer's project. I believe it will be installed in the cafeterias and the gym, mainly.
Oh, good. Thank you. Technology report. Mrs. Santa Cruz will provide a technology report.
Good evening. Technology report. On the data side, we're continually uploading our enrollments. Spring enrollment deadline of April 15th. We made sure that our numbers were 100%. We supported schools during ISA testing. The registration committee I started looking at residency dates for the month of June. The registration portal is open for returning students of 2022-2023 school year. On the network side, it's just a reminder to be cautious when opening or responding to emails. On the district technology, our technicians have been working on cleaning, assessing, and preparing Chromebooks for our students. We continue to work on new and pending work orders. Work orders for the month of March. We got 82 new work orders for a total of 112. Our average response time is about 23 hours. We closed 93, and 19 of them rolled over into April. In regards to SAPA, we're still reviewing agreements and streamlining the use of our instructional software. And for E-rate, there has been no new changes. The only thing that opened was a new grant that's opening up in the month of May, and the district's gonna look into seeking some of the funds to support our Chromebooks. That is all. Thank you.
Where are we at with the Chromebooks as far as ones that we've lost through this? I mean, that are no longer viable machines to pass out?
This year, we are actually decommissioning about 1,200 Chromebooks, just because they're about 6 years old. So their support life is no longer, they're no longer supporting the device. As far as lost and brokens, we have a database of like all the students that have damaged, and we sent out billing. As far as lost devices, I'm going to say that's been minimal. I'm going to say we have around 5 for the whole year. So it's most of the things that we see around. The Chromebooks are damages. But we're keeping account of that, and the parents are being held accountable for the damages.
Thank you.
No problem.
New business, board meeting time adjustment. It's recommended that the Board of Education adjust regularly scheduled monthly meeting time to 6:30 p.m. Any questions or comments from the board? I have a motion to adjust the regular scheduled monthly meeting time to 6:30.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Infante?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell-Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Yes. Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Werner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Superintendent's report.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. April is Autism Awareness Month. On Friday, which is tomorrow, April 22nd, the district will show our support and wear blue or the district-sponsored t-shirt. Thank you to everyone who supported the fundraiser. It really does provide a lot of great opportunities for our students. As mentioned earlier, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Great Chicago is doing their groundbreaking ceremony. I put an invitation to the board in your folders. If you could just let us know if you will be attending to hold a shovel or for a picture or want to speak. If you want to speak, Mr. Werner, you can do that. Just let me know and we will RSVP on your behalf.
Okay.
They invited any board member to speak. So, graduation is scheduled for Tuesday, May 31st at the Eisenhower High School. I placed an invitation in your box. If you can just let me know which ceremony you'd like to attend, or if you want to attend all of them, that's certainly fine. So you'll find that in your folder as well. In addition, you will find in your folder a copy of the survey that was created regarding school safety that was discussed at last month's meeting. The survey will go out to staff, parents, and students of elementary and middle school, so we've broken those two surveys up. I put a copy of them in your folders, but we will publish the survey next week so that we can provide the data to the board at the May meeting to help with your discussions about school resource officer, etc. We have a special board meeting on Tuesday, April 26th at 6 p.m. here at the district office for an IASB training titled Setting District and Priorities Workshop. And lastly, you'll find in your folder an article titled Principals Rediscover Their Joy and Purpose Through Coaching by Kay Pesnick. The article was written by our Learning Forward coach, and she briefly references the work with principals here. She didn't reveal any names or any coaching experiences, but the article is in your folder for your review, and I was actually going to send it out to the district hopefully tomorrow so that everybody can see it. And that's all I have for the board this evening.
Do we have a report from the BIEA? Anyone? Oh. The BIE.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. BIE SPA Local 330. Okay. SEIU 73. And anything from the audience?
It might be helpful if you go to the podium, because that way everybody can hear you in the mic. Not to put you on the spot.
You asked for it.
Hi, sorry, please forgive my ignorance in how this works. This is my first time attending a board meeting. I was just kind of curious about the change in the schedule for the next school year, the late start time on Thursdays. What is the reasoning for that? Or is the day going to be then extended? How is that working?
So one of the pieces that we wanted to offer our staff, as well as the ability to collaborate and meet and plan. We've struggled this year with challenges related to some of the deficits that are a result of not having in-person instruction, and we wanted to offer this time for just collaborative planning, professional development, because it's becoming increasingly more difficult to plan these trainings before, after school, and getting the turnout that we need to get. We modeled our model after 218. We've worked with the bus company. We're also hoping that will also give a little relief as far as transportation, because we've had those struggles this year. So we tried to assess a way that we can bring everybody together. and then we can have training for all of our groups. It's not just about teachers, it's paraprofessionals, secretaries, our maintenance and custodial staff. So it's just a way to try to better enrich the staff here in the district.
How is that going to work for working parents though, who drop off their children in the morning and then head to school to try and have to adjust their schedule now at work for one day a week to adjust to a later start time, if their employers are not allowing that?
One of the issues, or that's not an issue, one of the services we were gonna look into was our Champions program to offer that before school. We already do in several of our schools. We were gonna see if they can expand that program. And then there are other programs here in the community that have reached out that wanna offer these types of supports for, before and after school care.
For no charge? Because that's now an extra charge to parents. They may not be able to afford that.
That's something we can work out with Champions as to what the rates could be. They may offer an incentive for parents for using the service.
And then my last question on that was, for those that don't currently qualify for bus service because they may be too close to the school, would that be adjusted? For like say younger children that aren't able to walk to school but still don't qualify for the bus service, but their parents can't be home, maybe they can get like a neighbor to watch them for that hour. Would there be a bus service available for that?
So busing is an issue that you have to be a certain distance from the school to qualify for that. But we can certainly talk to our vendors to see if that's something that we can incorporate. But typically it's based on where the children live, and then that's the free transportation that's provided.
Okay, I think that's all I have.
And if you want to leave your name with me after the meeting, I can follow up with an email with a response for you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Rose Muda, and I'm a special ed paraprofessional. I've been employed by District 130 for 22 years. On April 12th at NHI, I was told that I would be meeting up with Ms. Fish, Mrs. Boyd, Gracie, and Women Rep at 8:30 in the conference.
Excuse me. Can you speak into the mic? It's very difficult to hear you. Okay. Thank you.
Again, I'm sorry. My name is Rose Muda, and I am a special ed paraprofessional. I've been employed by District 130 for 22 years. On April 12th at Nathan Hill Intermediate, I was told that I would be meeting Mrs. Fish, Mrs. Boyd, and Gracie. At this meeting, I was informed that I would be working with Mrs. Hennessy's class, who is cross-cat teacher at Nathan Hill Intermediate, to Whittier School to work as a bilingual reading paraprofessional. After being told of this change late that same day, I received an email explaining my duties. I was shocked that I would be removed from this classroom who I had developed a class relationship with the students and their families. I would assume that the administration that made this decision to move me knew of this, especially knowing they all have IEPs. I was told by Mrs. Hennessy that she was never informed of this decision that was made. I also found out that Ernie Trillo, who is head of PPS, and Greg Hall, who is the PPS coordinator, were not informed as well. I was hired to fill PPS openings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will recess into executive session to discuss the following personnel matters. 5 ILCS 120/2 C1, Negotiation matters, 5 ILCS 120/2C2. May I have a motion to recess into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, aye.
Motion approved. happy to go. I'm going to do one. If we're I prefer the first, that's where I went. But if we're short on that thought, well, all those kids go to my school. That's like, you know what I mean? So,
I could do two, and that's where we need the next. It's not good. Everybody here? Any motion to reconvene open session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Burmeister, yes. Infante.
Yes.
Colma.
Yes.
Mitchell Brown.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Werner.
Yes.
Motion approved. Meeting reconvened.
Personnel matter, we have a motion to terminate Dean Johnstone effective April 21st.
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Werner.
Yes.
Infante.
Yes.
Burmeister, yes. Mitchell Brown.
Yes.
Colma.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Who made the motion?
Sure.
And second was Colma?
Yep.
All right, all in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
You never asked for names.